Nations League champions beating Spain in the final on penalties, winning 5-3 after it was 2-2 after extra time. We'll welcome in Frank Leboeuf and Jurgen Klinsmann, who are watching this game for us as well. But let me start in here with you guys. It was another decent showing in the Nations League, a good final.
It was, and it's two teams that we must say, looking ahead to next year's World Cup, they have to be among the very favorites going into that competition. Both teams have more than enough talent in the attack. They have more than enough talent in the midfield. Both teams have frailties in the back line. Those frailties actually sometimes come by design. When you think of Portugal today, and an outstanding player for Portugal today, Nuno Mendes was that guy. But he is given the freedom to be in advanced positions all the time. Same thing similarly to Joao Neves, who's given the freedom to then tuck into the midfield. When he did that over the course of the first half to try and help and create mismatches in terms of number in the midfield, it created a natural counter-attacking opportunity for Spain and Nico Williams going over the top, which then exposed those frailties that I'm talking about. And you can say the same thing about Spain. While they're so good going forward and the way that they control the ball through the midfield and how dynamic they can be with Lamine Yamal and how dynamic they can be with Nico Williams today in particular, anytime you get Spain isolated in 1v1 situations, in moments of transition, they're suffering defensively. Both teams showed a lot in this competition. Both teams will be favorites or among the favorites going into the World Cup, but both teams have work to do to get there and actually get the job done.
Would you agree with that, Stevie?
Yeah, I think so. I think both teams can improve in certain areas, and I think for Spain, I think they need to get some more depth, because I think the difference in this was Portugal. The changes they were able to make, I thought made them stronger. And like the semi-final, when Spain made the changes, I thought they dropped off. So if there was one thing I would say, particularly about Spain, if they can get a better squad who, when he makes changes and brings players on, they actually have an impact, the way the Portuguese players made an impact.
And to that point, Stevie, just very quickly, I would say that some of the decisions by Luis de la Fuente today were interesting. You need energy in an attacking position or through the midfield. You got guys like Fermín López, or you have Dani Olmo, and they're sitting on the bench. And then you have Mikel Oyarzabal, who was really good today for 60, 70, maybe even 75 minutes. But Mikel Oyarzabal can't quite move all that well anymore at this point in his career. And he's not a center forward per se. And yet they kept him out there into the extra time. And you kind of go, a little bit more athleticism, a little bit of spark that can stretch the back line of Portugal. That never actually happened unless it was coming from Nico Williams, because most of the time today, Lamine Yamal, instead of taking the ball forward, took a touch forward, then a touch back, and then combined with the midfields. We didn't see enough of Lamine Yamal actually taking players on in 1v1 situations.
We definitely saw enough of Nuno Mendes, though, Jurgen. What a performance from him.
Yeah, fantastic performance by Nuno Mendes. Certainly, probably a man of the match. But I want to follow up on Steve and Alejandro. Is that you see there are two teams that are in a very mature phase towards the World Cup 2026 next year in the US, Mexico, and Canada. You know, they're building their roster. Obviously, there is still room for improvement within their roster. There's always room for improvement there. But the level, the standard that they play or give out to all the opponents worldwide is very, very high. You know, so this was the last couple of days, you know, having watched them now in these two matches, each team has been fantastic. You know, what Portugal did, you know, against Germany and what they did today, and Spain, obviously, with the match against France, 5-4. And there's obviously a French side that always has a say in Europe. This is one of the strongest ones as well. But they show pure class. They show so much talent. They are not shy, especially in case of Spain, you know, to bring in youngsters at the age of 19, 20, 21, or obviously Lamine Yamal at 17. So who does that have in the world of football? You know, I mean, obviously their biggest counterpart is in South America with Argentina. And what I see with Portugal, a team that is now maturing towards that World Cup next year, that has one old lad, I would call him, you know, to take with but very, very hungry. Ronaldo at 40 years of age, which is similar to the situation that had Argentina and Qatar with Messi. The whole team was working their backsides off for Messi. And the similar thing I see now with Portugal. Everybody bought into that phenomenon. Ronaldo, everybody bought in to help him wherever they can, because once the moment comes and he has to put the ball in the back of the net, he's there. He's there.
Yeah,
and he scored his 138th goal today.
And today he wasn't that good, but he was always sharp to know exactly, and the goal shows his talent and his flair and of course his experience. So that's good for Portugal and for the next year. And after, as Jürgen mentioned, after the World Cup for Messi, it would be fantastic to close down this era of two wonderful players, that Ronaldo getting the World Cup straight after, making sure that those players, they get out of the football with the Holy Grail. So Ronaldo is a leader, and he showed it today, and he will try to come back at some point, try to hold the ball, try to work for the team, not asking too much for the ball like he used to do, and pushing the others to choose him. That was sane, I would say, during those two games. And he scored the 2 goals, so that's great for him. That's a very good competition for Ronaldo.
You'd have to think, if Portugal can find somebody between now and the World Cup to play centre forward, so that you're not having Ronaldo playing, that could change the way that they can go about winning games as well. Because right now, when they have Ronaldo up front, they can't do what Spain have been doing and closing people down. They can't do it, because Ronaldo can't do it. If they can find somebody between now and next year, I mean, that gives them another string to their bow. Because when Ronaldo plays up front, they can't go closing the ball, because they just can't do it, because he doesn't have the legs to do it. So if there's one of these teams can get quite a bit better, I would suggest it would be Portugal, if they can come up with an alternative.
Would you replace Ronaldo right now?
Yeah, but
though?
Stevie,
winning games for them.
There is something. Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, sorry, Stevie. I just want to jump on what Stevie said. That's the first time that I find Spain having issues working offensively against a team. And so, therefore, for me, Portugal doesn't need to close up and to press high. They know, because of the midfielder they have and the defender they have, that they can control the best team in the world right now. And because Spain have shown that. So it's not really an issue for me that Ronaldo, because of Ronaldo, they cannot close up a little bit higher. For me, they showed today that they were able to cope with that situation.
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, as an issue. I'm saying that Portugal, if they can change and have the option to go and close the ball and put teams under pressure, that to me would make them a better side, because now they can, depending on the opposition, they can either sit back and do what they did today, or they can go and press high and close people because they have the legs. So I just think that Portugal have the capability of getting even better than they are.
There is something beautiful to be appreciated about Cristiano Ronaldo's confidence, borderline arrogance. At 40 years old, he scores a goal today, and his first reaction is, grabs the ball and says one. One meaning, I only need one chance. You just give me one chance, I'll put it in the back of the net. That's what I read from it. That he feels, even at this point in his career, all he needs is one opportunity. My concern with Ronaldo, while I agree with you, Stevie, that they don't press the ball as well as they could, if indeed they had somebody who had fresher legs, who had younger legs, who had more pace than Ronaldo has at this point in his career. My concern is, if we project forward to 2026 in the World Cup, we just saw it today. He played 2 high-intensity games back-to-back, 3 days from each other, and got injured in the second of those games. If we're thinking of Portugal in winning a World Cup, we're thinking about a long tournament in which they're going to play games every 3rd day, every 4th day, high-intensity matches. Ronaldo, I don't think, at this point in his career, is in a place where he can do that consistently. Now, he can do it for short periods of time. He can do it 2 games at a time. Over the course of a month doing it, that's a different question. And also, I'm also curious as to the emotions of Cristiano Ronaldo today once they won. I don't want to read into it, but I suppose it's part of our job. That emotion from Cristiano Ronaldo winning this competition means what exactly?
What's your response to what the guys are saying, Jurgen?
Well, I think Cristiano Ronaldo, just from the outside, obviously, I met him many times, but it's not that I know him, inside out. He's a personality. He wants always more, and this celebration that he showed today is, one more title. I have one more. He's just looking always for the next big thing. And the next big thing he knows is the World Cup next year. And I see a lot of similarities with Argentina in Qatar. They all played for Messi, and I see this Portuguese side. It almost feels like they all want to play for Ronaldo. They want to give Ronaldo this very, very special, possibility to win the World Cup. And he's gonna live for that one. He's gonna sleep. He's gonna eat. He's gonna work. He's gonna do everything possible to make it happen. And his phenomenon is simply that he only, as Alejandro said, he only needs one chance and scores one goal. So I saw Germany this morning. Obviously they had 10 chances in the first half. They could have destroyed France with 4, 5, 6 goals in the first half, which they didn't. They didn't score one goal, not even. France wins the game 2-0 because this is the thing. If you have somebody like Cristiano who just needs 1 or 2 opportunities to score, so you keep him. And what Roberto Martinez did miraculous, I think, fantastically, is to reintegrate Cristiano Ronaldo in that team, to build this team based on everybody's strengths. And that's what he's doing. So maybe everybody's strength is not to press as high as Spain does, and do this, what other teams maybe do. But he knows the strengths of Ronaldo, the strengths of Bruno Fernandes, and now with Nuno Mendes coming from the left, this is a fantastic side. And I think they will be among the favorites for next year's World Cup.
What did you think of Lamine Yamal today, Ale?
I thought it was a tired performance from Lamine Yamal. I thought couple of touches very early on, you kind of go, doesn't seem to have a lot of life in his legs. And the decision that he was making with the ball at his feet, unlike what we have seen most of the season, seemed to be quite conservative. A couple of times he tried to take players on, was unsuccessful doing that, and then he settled for first touch back, second touch back, sideways passing. Couple of times he looked for that sort of outside of the left foot pass, didn't quite work out, and so it kind of felt to me like he didn't quite have it today. He knew he didn't quite have it, and so he was more focused on how do I become an outlet to maintain possession for the team, rather than how am I a game changer, a game breaker for Spain. That was happening far more often by Nico Williams down the left-hand side than it was from Lamine Yamal down the right.
Top corner, side net, and I mean, it doesn't get any better. You can't play any better if you're Mendes today.
There is no better left back in the world right now than Nuno Mendes. Now, if you want to think of him as a left back or not, we don't know, because he appears in positions in which left back should not be. And yet, not only does he appear there, he does something productive with the ball. The change of pace, the speed over short distances, the speed over long distances, how he creates separation, and his decision-making in the final third, in the attacking half, has improved over time to where now there is productivity behind it, not only from the goal, but eventually providing assists. He did so in the game against Germany, and he was involved in the second goal today as well. But to your point, Stevie, perhaps the biggest play he made today was when Pedri came in the box, cut to the inside, cut to the outside, and there he was, Nuno Mendes making a block that could have made the game 3-2 at the time. It remained 2-2, and eventually Portugal win it. Nuno Mendes has been outstanding, was outstanding today, and again, there's no better left back in the world right now.
He's looking like a very special player, Frank.
Yes, he is, and I saw him playing when I saw him arriving for Paris Saint-Germain, and the first game that he had, it wasn't the same. That guy is simply full of confidence. He feels the game. All his choices are good. He makes everything perfect, simple, straightforward. And as the guy said, today he showed to the world he's the best fullback in the world, and on the left side. So nothing much to say. I loved him. I love his confidence. And I was scared for the penalty that he had, because I say, well, if he misses, that will be unlucky. But that's a perfect night for him. Everything has been perfect. Even the penalty is the best penalty of the nine Wu shot. So that's perfect for Nuno Mendes today.